Hello, Pisces. Hello, Pisces. Happy December to you. This is Capricorntigress, Adrian Igo of Astrology, a look inside, coming to you with your horoscope for the month of December 2018. And I just want to tell you guys that you're fun. I think Pisces are hilarious. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I always draw up a little hand chart and I kind of give you my take on things based on what I see. And then after I finish that, then I'm going to read off the aspects and talk about how it might affect you directly. Okay. So with that said, I'll go ahead and start off by saying that a lot of the emphasis for the month is going to be in your 10th house and your first house. It's all about your first house and your 10th house right now. I really believe that your personality, like you, yourself, what you're exuding is going to affect your career. It's going to affect your image. It's going to affect your reputation. It's everything actually right now, because there is the sun in your 10th house. There's Jupiter in your 10th house. There is Mercury's going to be floating around your 10th house. This is the month of your 10th house. And, yeah. And Venus is going to be sitting up in your 9th, which is kind of good for education and learning and being able to talk about things, you know, like international things and politics and religion, stuff that gets people upset, but you'll be able to talk about it in a very schmoozy way, in a very, like, affable way. I don't think you'll get into much arguments with people, but here's the thing. Sagittarius on the 10th house loves talking about those subjects. So you might find that you're getting into these conversations about things like political things and religious things and legal things and like the black and white thing and the Trump thing, and you know, be aware of that for the month of December and avoid that crap. Why deal with that? Anyway, this is going to be an emphasis for you because there's so much Sagittarius up in that 10th house of your image. It's kind of like what you're exuding. Okay. And then in your first house, you've got Mars there, like throughout most of, if not all of December, and Neptune in the first house and Chiron in the first house. So when I see that, I'm seeing someone who might be a little aggressive in the persona. You know, you're like assertive, like this is actually a go forward time for Pisces. But Neptune is there, and for a certain portion of the month, Neptune is retrograde, I think still. I think it goes direct during the month. Chiron definitely goes direct during the month because Chiron is also retrograde. You got some stuff going on in that first house. I think Neptune is direct already, I think, but Chiron definitely goes direct during the month. And Mars is definitely in Pisces. So, there's a lot going on. You guys have a lot going on in that first house. I'm just hoping that with that much emphasis in the first house, and especially with planets like Chiron, or, you know, Chiron, Neptune, and Mars, that you don't get into these weird arguments. I just see friction arguments over crazy value systems. Just like, my value's different than your value. My value's different than yours. My value's different because do you remember the Generation song? Anyway, I don't know where that came out of. Anyway, I just feel like be cautious of that. Be cautious of what you're saying and how you're saying it, and if someone's going to get upset about it because Mercury's retrograding and Mercury's going back and forth between Scorpio and Sag, and you know, Venus is up there in the 9th, and then you've got the sun on the 21st is going to go into the 11th house of hopes, dreams, and wishes, and like your associations and groups that you belong to, and Pluto and Saturn and the sun are going to be in that 11th house. Well, you know, here's a crazy thing. You could actually be doing some kind of work with groups and associations in some way, but you also have power there. So I can see you maybe being powerful in groups and associations and groups. I can also see you maybe gaining power like on groups and stuff, like, or places like Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Like I can see you gaining some power there because Saturn usually indicates what you're working on or should work on, and Pluto is power, and the sun, well, is where you shine. So after the 21st, I could see that really being a place of power, like your friends, your groups, your associates, those things that you do online. I could see that. Conversely, that same time, this month, the emphasis for the North Node is in Cancer, which is the opposite house, the 5th house. That's down in the 5th house. I've been telling a lot of people to gamble. I'm going to tell you the same thing. Definitely gamble, because first of all, you're a Pisces that is trying that Cancer flow, right? That's a trine. That's good. So go for it. Plus, you've got that Venus up in the 9th. That's another trine. I'm feeling like this really great triney thing going. Positivity. So, yeah, I would definitely gamble with the North Node sitting in my 5th house. If I was a Pisces, I would gamble with the North Node sitting in my 5th house all year. Play the lotto every time, every chance you get, y'all. With Pluto in the house of hopes, dreams, and wishes, that means, and the sun, wait a minute, and Saturn is the co-ruler of the 11th house. Did you know that? Because the natural house of the 11th house is Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus and Saturn. So Saturn's technically at home when it's in the 11th house. You know that, right? It's the 10th and 11th. That's where it rules. It is there. Okay? So, hey, I would take chances. I would definitely. Yeah. In fact, with the North Node in the 5th house, throughout, the next, for a while, you could actually even look at opening your own business. Maybe something that you found online, or something that you're promoting online, or something like you're promoting on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat. I could see that. So, wow, you can definitely do that. Now, here's the other thing, is that Uranus is transiting your 2nd house of money. Uranus is now in Aries. Aries, that's your solar 2nd house of money. And after Mars comes out of Pisces, going into Aries in your 2nd house of money. I would play the lotto. If not in January, then when Mars goes in that 2nd house of money, that's the 31st. That's New Year's Eve. Play the lotto. Oh, and be careful on New Year's Eve. There's going to be some weird aspects. I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, this has been Capricorntigress. I've been talking about, this is my personal take on your chart. So what I'm going to do now is go over the aspects for the month. And that is going to probably give us a little bit more detail on how it is going to affect you. So on the 1st of December, Mercury enters Scorpio. And Scorpio is up in that 9th house. I talked about that. That's like having these all or nothing conversations about like religion and politics and dogma and legal things and education and one of those things. Like, yeah, when Mercury goes into Scorpio, you've already got Venus there. I could just see you. I just get whoever's there. I just be careful that I just keep thinking there's somebody that's going to get out there and start spouting off stuff like they know everything. Please be cautious of that. It's going to get ugly if you do. Okay, on the 2nd of December, Sun squares Mars. And the Sun is up in the 10th, and Mars is in your 1st house. So, like I said, you're going to have that 1st, 10th house emphasis a lot during December. It could just be like something that you are upset about. You might not even be aware that you're exuding some kind of anger or dissatisfaction, but that could be it. The Sun square Mars might bring that to the, out publicly, because the Sun is sitting in your 10th house. Everything's really kind of visible right now. And Mars is in your 1st house. That's also visible. Whatever it is, whatever is irritating you, don't think you're hiding it, because everyone can see. On the 5th, Wednesday of December, the sun is square Neptune. Again, we're sitting, that's that 10th house again, and that is that first house again. It's another square, and it's just, you might feel like everything that you wanted, all your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, all went down the drain. They all went down the tube. It's not true, but especially if you're having trouble at your career, you could feel that way. So just be aware of that. It's a transit. You know, don't drink yourself into like a stupor because of that day. Now, on the next day, I don't even know how to say this to you because now there's going to be a new moon in Sag. There's so much emphasis up in that 10th house, and it's messing with you guys so much. So, you know, this is the new moon in Sagittarius, and it's your soul, you know, the soul, the career area again, your image, your reputation. Sag is usually a very positive, upbeat, optimistic sign. I'm hoping that there's going to be some positivity, some upbeat, positive, optimistic feelings in that area of your work. But the thing is, for you Pisces, is that it squares you and your first house. So that is your persona and your personality and who you are. So you may be feeling friction and stress instead of this positive thing that a lot of other signs are feeling. So be aware of that, you know, this is going to be a new moon. It is a sign of things to come, at least for the next few weeks. So the emphasis is in your career. It's right up smack dab at the top of your chart. There's a lot of emphasis there and in your first house. That same day, Mercury is conjunct Neptune in your first house. So we've got that same vibe going, like me versus my career, or my image is not really me, or it's not meshing with who I really am. There's something like that going on. There's like a big delusion, something like that happening. And you know, how that's going to come out, I don't know. But I feel like on the 8th, when Chiron goes, oh, by the way, I think I missed, Mercury goes direct in Scorpio on the 6th as well. Okay, Mercury is going direct in Scorpio. So even now that Mercury in that 9th house is thinking clearly, I just wanted to say that before I go further. Okay, so on the 8th, Chiron goes direct in Pisces. So a lot of things going direct that this week. That is the first house, and it's saying that you can release your pain now that Pisces is going direct. I don't know what kind of pain you might have had in your first house, or about your persona, or your image, about you. But now Chiron's going forward. It should get better from here on. I know I've been giving you guys a little bit of a hard time over the last few months with your charts. But you know, with Chiron going backwards like that, and Neptune going backwards like that, it's been kind of weird. There's no way it could have been easy, I don't think. So now Chiron is going direct, and it's going to be, I think, easier, because you're going to be able to let go of hurts and pains around yourself and your personality and your physical body, and hopefully you'll start feeling better. I really think a lot of you Pisces are going to start feeling better, because over the course of, November, December, the North Node went from Leo, which was your solar 6th house, or your health and your work, and now it's in that 5th house. It's a much more pleasant house to North Node. If you're going to North Node in the 5th house, and in Cancer no less, which is trine Pisces. So this should be a more pleasant transit of the North Node through this house. You're going to be dealing with things like children, which Pisces love dealing with things like this. Children and fun, taking chances, gambling even. That's where that North Node is now. And Chiron is direct in the first house. So it's good. It's all going to get better, I believe. Mercury enters Sagittarius on the 12th. And that's a Wednesday. Isn't that weird? Mercury on a Wednesday. That is Mercury's day. So Mercury enters Sag. It's always heavy and comes in like a lion when it first enters the sign. That's your solar 10th house. You're going to be thinking about something really big at your career. You might actually pull off something amazing with your career. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I can see it possibly happening. Something innovative too, because it's Sagittarius. Should be interesting. But you're going to be thinking big from now on, at least while Mercury's in Sag, because it's up in your 10th house. So you're thinking about that career, and you're thinking about doing something big in that career. And if that wasn't enough, the sun in Sagittarius is square the moon in Pisces on the 15th. So now the moon is in your first house, squaring that sun up in the 10th house. Whatever is going on between that first house and 10th house, it's still happening. And it happens perhaps all throughout the month. This is a day to avoid arguments, disputes. Yeah. Wow. The moon in that first house in Pisces. Wow. Just watch the emotions that day. I can see the emotions getting really out of hand. Yeah. Just be careful of saying or doing something that you're going to regret in the morning, because you'll regret it. You will. On the 20th, the sun is trine Uranus. And the sun is up in the 10th, as we talked about. Uranus is in that second house. Whatever you're doing that day, you might be able to do something that has, hopefully brings you money. Second house is always money. Uranus in the second house right now means you could get unexpected money. And with it trying to the, a sun up in the 10th, maybe from your career. Interesting. Maybe your boss will give you a raise that day. Wouldn't that be nice? On the 21st, the sun enters Capricorn, but on the 20th, the sun enters Capricorn. So now the emphasis is going to be in that 11th house. I talked about that a little bit earlier, with hopes, friends, dreams, wishes, groups, associations, and stuff like that. Now the sun is going to be there instead of the career. So you're going to be focusing more on the groups and associations and, organizations you belong to more than your actual career itself. Venus also trines Neptune that day, and Neptune is in your first house, right? It's in Pisces, and Venus is in Scorpio, and that's coming from that 9th house again. I'm just seeing that it should be a very positive experience, but very idealistic. Yeah, you're just seeing the good in things and people in life in general that day. On the 25th, which is Christmas, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas, Pisces. The moon is in Leo, and the moon in Leo is trine Jupiter in Sagittarius that day. So that moon in Leo in your 6th house is trine your 10th house. That's work. That's work and career. So I'm hoping you have something really amazing. Maybe a Christmas party. Don't party too hard that day. I'm just thinking, Christmas party. You'll regret it in the morning with your health, I tell you. On the 29th, the moon in Libra is actually square the sun in Capricorn. And that is a lot of friction. That's your 8th house and your 11th house, solar-wise. And, that's money that is coming in, hopefully, or annuities, or maybe even money that you owe. There's money that people, I think, owe you, money coming in, I believe. But that's square, and it's coming from the the friend's house. So maybe, someone owes you money, or you owe someone money. Anyway, there's friction there. You could get into an argument or dispute over that. Be aware of that. It could also indicate, because the 8th house is deep conversations, secrets, and your partner's money, and it can also indicate sex and death. But it has something to do with, friends. And so just be aware that this is an issue that's popping up that day. That is the 29th. And as if that wasn't enough, on the 31st, the month ends weird, because it ends with that Mars leaving Pisces in your first house and going into the second house of Aries. And, when Mars is in Aries, Mars is home. So it's going to be doing something really firing up that second house. That second house is going to have a lot of energy and drive. It's going to feel like there's fire, power in there. I don't know where you're going to get the money or whatever, but that is the second house. That is money. That's what you own. That is what you possess and what you have to give even. So you might feel like you want to give more and feel more compassionate during Mars and Aries. Just know that this Mars and Aries is going to be happening almost, well, January. So it's coming up. It's the last aspect of December. And with that, I will say be careful on New Year's Eve, because that is New Year's Eve. So be cautious with that. That Mars in Aries on New Year's Eve. Everyone, typically it is the worst driving day of the year. So I want everyone to be cautious that day. And with that, I have finished my official reading for you Pisces for the month of December 2018. I want to take a moment and say happy holidays to all of you. Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. I wanted to make sure I wish everyone happy New Year, okay? Much love, much light to everyone, okay? And namaste. Namaste. Have a beautiful month, everyone. Beautiful month, Pisces.